Welcome back, everybody, to your quarterfinals of the 2019 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, sponsored by Prodigy Disc. We are at Hornets Nest Disc Golf Course around the Charlotte area, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Kevin Jones. I'm here with Chris Dickerson. Chris, I think we've got some excitement coming up in front of us. We've got Zach Melton and Matt Dollar who are needing some birdies on the back nine. What do you think that's going to entail?
It looks like the back nine is the harder of the two nines, so they're going to need to pick up some birdies on the harder part of the course.
Yeah, definitely. The back nine is without a doubt way harder than the front. So if we're going to see some guys come back, it's going to be really exciting, I think. This hole is a really difficult par 3. It's 396 feet with a tree right in the middle of the already small gap. So you have to miss the middle tree if you want to score on this hole. MJ has missed it.
Just missing it. I think this gap would be perfect without the tree, but that tree makes it just so much harder because if you dead center the gap, you could kick either way into the rough and be scrambling for a par.
Yeah, it could be almost an insta-4 if you hit that tree. Oh, playing a flip up. So that stayed up really well. Wow, those are two amazing shots.
Matt hoping he can have a similar shot.
Okay, so where Matt just kicked over there is very difficult. He's going to have to be very creative to get a par.
That's right. I think if you do take a kick, it should be to the right side. It would be easier to be on the right side.
And Zach played this sweet line off of a tree on the right side. I didn't look at that when I was looking at the hole. Unbelievable. I like it. I'm going to check that one out next time.
You got to call those bank shots.
Nice. He needed it. This is a good way for him to start the back nine. He knows it. That's awesome.
He knows what he did.
So Dollar, this is going to be tough from here.
Going high forehand turnover.
He got through a lot. Oh my goodness. All the way to like 70 feet maybe.
Mm-hmm. A longer putt. Let's see what he does. Oh no.
Yeah, not what you want to do, but he should be able to knock that down for bogey.
Paul from about 35, 38 feet.
That was super close from Paul. And Zach, this is not where his drive landed.
I think it is.
Oh my goodness. Let's go. That's what he needed right there. Great way to start the back nine.
He is excited.
Yeah, no doubt. There it is. Dollar with a really solid putt. That's good for him. When he's in a position like that off of the tee, obviously you're trying to save a 3, but at the same time, you have to secure a 4. You can't be getting into more trouble, and that's kind of what he did there. He secured his 4, and he's going to move on. MJ just pured the shot, didn't he?
He did. Right down the middle. That's how you want to play the hole.
Yeah, that's great. So Dollar starting off with a 4. It's actually a flip-flop in the scores between Zach and Dollar. Our other two gentlemen are doing really solid right now and headed, as long as they stay away from the bogeys, they're headed to the next round, I would say.
I would think you're right. Hole 11 is a very technical par 4. Maybe a 300-foot shot. Maybe not even that. 250 to 300 off the tee, and then you have 100 to 150 depending on where you're at.
Yeah, good point. It's a really short one. Like, there's no need to push your first shot really far. It really needs to get moving right pretty soon. MJ showing us how to do a turnover line. Very well done.
You don't see very many of those on this hole. Usually you'll see a lefty backhand or some sidearms.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. Really good good backhand from Zach right there, getting him in a great landing zone.
Here's another righty backhand. That needs to hit that tree.
It does. So he pushed it a little too far straight is the first thing I'm seeing there. So he's going to have some trees in the way on his upshot, but I think it's scoreable.
Dollar playing it a little straight as well.
Yeah. I assume that if you were to throw just a straight putter, you could probably still get in the right spot to score.
You definitely could.
Not a bad shot from Dollar there. Big old thumber, it looked like.
I think he was wanting it to land on its top and take a few skips.
Yes. That's a good shot there from Paul, too. I can't tell if that's around 60 or 30, but he's going to be putting.
MJ with the Pro D banger.
Well done, MJ. MJ has such a good game plan for this course. I mean, obviously that comes with playing it for however long, that he's been playing this course. But it's also something that you could really learn from, is the way that he plays to his strengths, but also is able to score at such a high percentage here.
Dollar having a long look. It's high enough.
Oh,
I couldn't tell if that hit the basket or the tree behind it.
I couldn't actually tell either. Either way, it was like right on line.
Paul from a similar distance drains it.
Boom. What a putt from Paul. He's been like really on his putter, it seems like, for what I've been watching from him. He's also got a really good smile and a great attitude for the round.
Zach converts for his birdie, and it looks like we'll be 3 out of 4 for birdies after MJ taps his in.
That's not bad at all, considering we're heading into a really tough stretch of holes. So people are really going to want to be snagging a birdie on this hole just to grab a cushion for the next ones that are coming up.
That's right. These next two, very unlikely to get a birdie. Not impossible, but they are very tough.
Yeah, totally scoreable, but also totally bogeyable. MJ is keeping up his solid round, 6 under, 5 under from Oman, and the other two guys are still needing some birdies to secure their qualification. Hole 12, this is one where if you're like MJ, I believe he could piece together a mid-range and a mid-range and make it work. But it really helps to blast a fairway driver down this gap and get a lot of distance because there's so many trees guarding the green.
That's very true. The more distance you have off the tee, as long as you're in the middle, the easier your upshot's going to be.
That's right. And
it looks like that was a comet.
Maybe. It was something really flippy. It could have been. Not a bad shot. Not really that scoreable, though, for a birdie.
And a really tough shot here for Zach. He needs something to flip up and go straight without very much fade at all.
Not bad. I like that play. I see a lot of people playing a sidearm, a right-handed sidearm to where Zach is going, and that's the way that they navigate the hole. I like it. If you were able to throw a 651-foot straight shot, I think the hole would shape perfect for you.
I believe you're right. Being a right-handed person, yes.
But the problem is there's no room to mess up, and I don't think anybody can do that. So most people are going to try to piece it together, stay in the fairway, and not get into trouble.
No, you do not want to be. I think he's in a similar spot that I was, maybe a little further back, but there is a wall of trees in front of him. He doesn't have very much at all except for just a pitch out in the fairway.
Ooh, that's all he could ask for. I think getting to that tee box is a place where you could get up and down. Is that right?
You could. It's not easy, but it's definitely possible.
It's such a weird shape, and Paul is kind of showing us the shape that's needed. You have to throw a hard hyzer and have it flip up the whole time, kind of just like creating that gap. But
there's an outside gap and an inside gap. Dollar taking the outside gap.
So he opts to not throw like something flippy that's standing up. And the result of that is that he's going to be 30 feet left, and I'm sure he's fine with that.
And it looks like MJ's able to throw a full shot.
Holy smokes, MJ. Nice. Way to navigate the hole. I mean, 90 feet for a birdie.
He's going to take a par at least.
That's so stress-free.
And Zach doing the same.
Yeah, I see why they're liking that area over there. Seems like you can get creative and even have a look for birdie. What were you opting for off the tee shot, Chris?
I was going 400G M3, but haven't thrown it good yet, so we'll see how that goes today.
What would be ideal for you? M3 to what for a birdie?
M3 to PA3 for the birdie.
M3 to PA3. So mid-range putter as we just casually watch MJ walk down this sweet birdie putt. Wow. 50 feet. And MJ's just golfing right now. Like, I love it so much. Oh, Zach wanting to do the exact same thing as MJ. Just
if he would have converted on that, I think I would have had to change my game plan to throw it in the woods on the right and then approach from there.
Yeah, nice sidearm to the woods on the right and then just slam it up there again. It seems like a good play. Yeah, he's going to be just fine with taking an easy par there.
Par also for Paul. And I think, is this bogey?
This should be a bogey. He got into trouble early, couldn't quite recover from it, but recovering from the woods as far as he was is very difficult. That hole was playing only as the 9th hardest hole on the course, which is sort of surprising. I mean, it's right around average somehow. I'm not quite sure. It seems very difficult to me. Moving on, hole 13. This is the longest hole, I think, on the course.
I believe you're right. Also, I think it's the shortest tee pad on the course, too.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It is, but it's really grippy. I do like the material for the tee pad, at least.
So what you're looking for on your drive here is to throw a shot toward the foliage on the right, get a little fade to the left, but you want a lot of distance to be able to get into the gap for on your second shot.
Right. So MJ getting up and down from there would be incredible.
That's right.
He's looking at a really easy par, I would think. If you could see those, you'll see him right there, yellow posts. My goal is to fly over those. If you can get over those and then push kind of the left side of the fairway, that's how you open up the gap as wide as it could be for you. But the problem is you have to go a long ways to have an open gap.
Paul getting a little bit of drift to the right, getting all the distance he needs.
So that was like one of the better looking shots, but I still believe it's a little too short to be any kind of comfortable.
Yeah, he could still get there, but it's not where you really want to be.
Yeah. So that is a little bit turned over, headed into a tee box area, actually. There's the tee box for the next hole. Oh, what a cool shot. And I believe his feet were like really controlled there. So it's a funny situation. He put his foot behind the disc as where the basket would be, but he threw it almost straight to the left, technically. So totally legal, and I think a good shot.
Yeah, and I think Zach did the same thing there that you were just talking about with his foot being in line with the basket and maybe not with the fairway.
Right. That's what happens when we have dog legs with no Mandos in disc golf.
MJ keeping it high, giving it the opportunity to pan over there.
Oh, almost a little bit early. But that shot, when executed, is one of the prettiest shots ever, isn't it?
It is.
That was just much early, right?
Yeah. He kept it low. I think even if he would have hit the gap, it would have been 60 or 70 feet.
So Dollar, this is a big upshot for Dollar right now. Not getting quite close enough. for a circle putt, but he'll at least have a jump putt at it.
Zach going harp, I believe, just laying up, taking his par.
Yep.
MJ really stretching out, throwing a nose up turnover to maybe 20 feet.
And Paul going to be putting for his par, I think, right about 25 feet. Dollar really needs this if he wants to keep his hopes alive. It's just off the mark.
Just a little short.
Yep.
Paul looks like pulling down his hat to keep the sun out of his eyes, converting for the par.
Great putt from Paul. Staying very solid on the course today. This hole is... Sometimes I forget how hard this hole is. I just have to say, because it takes such a great tee shot and almost an even more disciplined and better approach shot to get a birdie. And I think it shows whenever only 2 of the 16 of the top players in the world secured a birdie on this hole. One being yourself, Chris, and the other being Philo, which I actually had the pleasure to see both. They were both back-to-back shots. Philo actually threw a destroyer from somewhere around where MJ was in our fairway. Just awesome shots that I'm really glad that I got to see. And you threw a putter in there, got it even closer. So nice birdies to you guys, the only ones of the field in this round.
14 being a very odd-shaped hole for a right-handed player. Unless you're throwing a sidearm, it actually sets up very well for a lefty or a right-handed sidearm.
Yeah, that's true. But I have to say, this is one of my favorite holes on the course. Oh, MJ catching a very crucial to miss guardian tree.
Being a right-handed backhand player, you need to go just inside that tree with a straighter disc on a good amount of hyzer.
Yeah. Like, are you throwing something that has some flip up at all, or is it really straight?
Just a little bit of flip up,
Right.
an M3.
Yep.
And it looks like Paul may be going fairway, some straighter kind of fairway.
Ooh, inside sneaky. Nothing doing, but luckily he missed enough trees to have a pretty easy up and down. Ouch. Not a tree you want to miss for $1. He's going to be struggling for a par. And that's the thing about this course is sometimes the holes to us seem very easy and repeatable, but the second you're a little bit off, it turns into a bogey.
That's right. It's a lot easier said than done. Just throw it in the fairway and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a good upshot there from Dollar. He'll be taking a bogey. MJ is in a little hairy situation. Answers nicely, though. 36 feet or so. Not bad.
Looking at a very makeable putt.
Yep.
Paul filtered through to a pretty nice putt.
Oh, almost tickled the chains, it looked like. And you're right. Yeah, he filtered way through.
Let's see if Zach can convert. He does.
Great downhill putt, and it's way more downhill than it looks. If he misses, he'll at least have 20, 25 feet left. But there's no time to lay up for Zach right now. He needed that one. That was actually a huge putt for him.
And this hole being 419 feet, he threw a judge off the tee pad. That's a putter.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's cool. He's playing the ground slope and just like using the glide on the judge, which the judge has tons of glide. Couple bogeys there. We did at least see one birdie from somebody who needed it, and we're going to take a quick break from a word from our sponsors.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Jones. I'm here with my brand new Prodigy BP3 V2 backpack, and I'm loving this thing a lot. It's extremely lightweight. It's carrying all the discs I could ever ask for. It's pretty sturdy and durable. I've got my 2 putters up here, no problem. Room for a towel if need be. It's really lightweight, it's extremely efficient, and for all you, it's extremely affordable, so come check it out.
And we're back on hole 15. Players are calling this the gauntlet hole just because of how tight it is.
That's awesome. Goal number 1 is hitting the gap. Obviously, there's a Mando tree in play. It shouldn't come into play though unless you kick way left off of one of these really early trees.
That's right.
So Zach doing what any guy would want to do, hitting the gap and getting up to a jump putt area. I'm totally cool with that.
I think for most players, as long as you hit the gap on this hole and make it out to the opening, you are perfectly content.
Yep. This is good from Paul. He's in, I think, good enough position to where he doesn't really need a birdie, but he definitely does not need a bogey. So getting through this gap was really crucial for him.
That's right. Oh no. MJ taking a bad kick, but he caught a second tree that kept him in the middle.
Oh. Yeah, that was 2 inches from probably being in the circle.
Yeah, closing in on the end of the round, these players are really, they really need to know what their score is compared to everyone else. And having you disc out here, we can check it whenever we want and kind of play match play.
Yeah, it's so awesome having live scoring at our fingertips. So all these guys are going to be checking it when it comes down to it. MJ actually just took a bogey. I would imagine he probably gave it a look just to make sure that he's good. And Zach, let's go, man. Let's go. Keep stringing them together. That's another birdie on a difficult hole.
2 holes in a row. Yeah, I think MJ, that may have been his first bogey of the round, maybe even the event.
Yes, I believe so. Paulo just off. And Dollar in there for a par save.
That's how fast he plays. We just caught the disc leaving his hand.
Yes, and he speeds up a little bit as the round goes on. Like it slowly gets a little bit faster sometimes. And par city for Paul. On to hole 16. So we've got 3 holes left. Now this is the part of the course where it really gets interesting, because this tee shot on hole 16 is very laceable to the pin, but I'm telling you, if you miss this gap here, it's almost it puts you in a very rough spot for a par. So this is a hole we're dropping down here right now, lowering the elevation. So if you just get through the gap and flat with something stable, it will go and finish somewhere by the basket. There is OB right and OB long, so it's important to have a stable disc so that you're not flirting with that. Like Zach, oh, this is looking so money. Yeah, so do what he did if you're wanting to birdie the hole.
Absolutely parked. If you're a left-handed sidearmer, throw an enforcer.
That's right. What a great shot from Zach when he needed it too. And Paul is going to be in some trouble here.
Yeah, if he could have caught the tree and kicked a little further into the woods, I think he would have been better off. But kicking back out into the open.
Yeah, he's got 2 layers of trees to beat now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is the cool thing about this hole, though, is so for anybody who's on the bubble, whether they're good or bad, this is their opportunity to fix it. If you're on the bubble and you're looking good and you don't need a bogey, this is trouble. This is a hard one to get through. It's very important that you get a good tee shot. And Paul, he's actually going the left fairway, which we didn't even talk about because it's so small. But absolutely, whenever people hit trees, the left fairway becomes very usable.
That's right. If you're a right-handed sidearm predominant player, I think you're going to go that left gap.
Yeah, you might.
I practiced with Jerm. He tried it. I don't remember seeing him throw any up the middle.
Yeah. That's a good shot right there. Good up shot. This is MJ for par. Yes, sir, MJ. Way to go. Just securing his spot.
And that's what you've got to do out here. When you get in trouble, you just have to control the bleeding. You have to stop it as soon as possible.
Yes, that's why it's important to be very level-headed. No matter what tree kick you get, accept it and get creative.
And Paul saving his par.
This is just great camaraderie right now. Paul just cleaning off Zach's disc, his parked disc. Just, yeah. So nice of him.
Zach says, you missed a little bit. I'll get the rest of it.
Oh, that is hilarious. This is getting fun. Zach's making a sweet late push. And we're headed into hole 17, which is another really exciting hole. You need to have a good tee shot.
A couple of 6 unders, a 5 under, and I think a 3 over for Matt. Hole 17 being a par 4, the landing zone on this first shot is very small. Being a sharp dog leg to the left, you have to land in maybe a 30-foot circle to have a really good shot, unless you want to try and get lucky through some trees.
Yeah, you're right. So is this more putter distance or mid-range distance to the landing zone, would you say?
I was throwing putter. You can get it there, but I think mid-range is just a comfortable play, something you can throw smooth.
Yep. Man, nice play from Zach. Fairway driver, sidearm, kind of shaping the hole as much as you can. This is a really important shot from Paul here. So I'm thinking the 6s are looking good to move on, but Paul's 5 under right now is just a little sketchy. Man, did he do what he needed to, though.
And that's just a little too far. 15 feet shorter, and he could have had something to work with.
You're very right. Now he's going to have to get really creative. But at least he made it through the initial gap, so I think he's almost, I'd say, par at worst, likely. If he plays it smart, I would say. And there's MJ just playing it perfectly. What do you think he threw there?
I'm actually not sure. I thought it was going to be an overstaple mid-range, but then it started to fly straight.
Yeah. He's real good at fan gripping those fairway drivers and moving them up the fairway really nicely.
MJ being the only one of the 4 in that landing zone we were talking about.
Kind of says something, doesn't it?
It's like he's played here before.
Thumber roller. I love it. I just added it to my bag. I would add it to all your guys' bags too. Just practice it. It can get you out of some situations that nothing else could get you out of.
It's a good tool to have.
Nice shot from MJ, getting right up inside the circle. Do you have a thumber roller in your bag?
I do. I don't use it often, but it's there when it needs to be.
Yes, that's the important thing. So this basket is elevated on that sweet-looking rock that I don't think is real.
It is a fake rock, yes.
But it looks real, and it is really visually appealing.
I had my doubts until I heard the sound it made after my putter rolled off of it.
Clunk.
It definitely made a weird sound that a rock should never make.
Okay, yeah. You found out that way. Nice. Yep, creative upshot from Dollar, playing some skip and maybe even using the bank.
And being on this rock, it's a lot more elevated than it seems.
Yeah, it really is, because it's kind of like on the mound on a rock almost. So it is up there. Oh, man, Paul securing his spot almost. That's awesome. He knows it too. That was such a big putt.
That pushes him to 6 under.
Yes, that's going to make him 6 under. Now 1 stroke behind MJ and tied with Zach, who just came out firing on the back 9. That's awesome.
Zach and MJ both to 7 under. Ooh. You don't see that very often. That is a soft putter if you can just pull it straight through the side.
Yep.
Hole 18, our last hole of the day. 486 feet. Dead straight. There are some trees on the right that really come into play. The left doesn't really. I mean, if you hyzer out, you can get into that corner, but you really need a disc to go straight, maybe flex a little to the right, and that's where those trees come into play.
Yeah, the main danger here is getting into some trees or getting in a weird position behind some trees. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of danger. It's kind of like a hole that's just saying, hey, attack me. If you want to get aggressive, you can get a birdie, but it's also a simple 3.
Mm-hmm. As long as you stay in the fairway, it's a very simple 3.
That's right.
I think a little higher than what Zach wanted.
Yeah, a little bit too high. Not enough turn for him, but easy 3. And he's looking gold. These guys are looking great with their scores. I don't think they're feeling any kind of stress. Something crazy would have to happen for them to not qualify for the next round.
And that definitely helps, getting through the corner just a little bit.
Yes.
Do these smaller trees get into your head at all on your throw?
On the left side?
Either side, right? Well, no, the right's really close, but the left?
Not at all, I would say. The way I'm throwing it is a hyzer flip, so I kind of play away from the trees.
Yep.
And then away from the trees on the right because it's flipping the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. But it shapes for me pretty well. I like the roller play. I was hoping to see this. The only problem is there's not like a ton of room for it to like finish to the right.
I think there are walls.
There
over
are
there.
walls, but they're like 70, 80 feet.
That's right,
So
yeah.
it would just be a huge putt. That's a very solid shot from him.
From outside circle 2. Long jump putt.
Oh, Zach has such a good jump putt, doesn't he?
He does. MJ from a similar distance, just the opposite side of the fairway.
Oh, he slipped it in there. MJ's not messing around. I don't even think he considers this like a birdie hole for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he threw off the tee, but I would imagine a crank.
I would imagine that too. I think we were talking about this hole, and he said something along the lines of where he's not really reaching it, but if he does throw in something like that, it'll be a birdie. And so, way to follow the game plan, MJ. Much respect.
There's a step putt.
Yes.
I know we all love to see that.
Yeah. Good job, Dollar. Great season this year. Look forward to seeing you next year, man.
That's a great way to end your round.
Yeah. I don't know what they were doing walking off these 10-footers, but probably seeing who's closer or something. Seems like there's been a little fun rivalry between them two, Paul and Zach, the whole round.
Yeah, knowing them, it was probably something like just to see who's closer.
There you have it, everybody. We saw some pretty solid rounds. 8 under, 6 under, and 7 under. All 3 of those guys moving on by a couple strokes.
That's right. They were not very close to the cut at all.
And there's your cut line, everybody. 4 under par, and it came down to tour points. I'm not kidding. Nate Perkins had Jeremy Colling by a fraction of a tour point.
By .2.
And that's the reason that he's moving on. So it just goes to show your play during the Disc Golf Pro Tour season can matter big time, and there it did right there. That's like one position difference, I would say, for the two in one single tournament throughout the year. So congrats to Nate Perkins for playing well enough to make it into the last qualifying spot. Great job, everybody else, and hopefully we'll see you for the semifinals of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, sponsored by Prodigy Disc. Thanks, Chris, for joining me. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.